Well, voice was in your wallet. I got that fire. I got that fire. I got that fire.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Welcome to the show, the Big Black Sports Show on a Tuesday night. I am Kevin Barnes, aka the Negro Whisperer. I'm not alone. It is Coach Tank's birthday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, my brother. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it, man.
What's going on with you, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. It is a cold ass day. It's supposed to be spring. I know it is, but
right.
It's cold. So you wherever you at, you in the house, you on your phone, you online, you on Facebook, tell a friend to tell a friend. The Big Black Sports Show is on the air. It's just what we do on People's Network. You know, I try to stay well-rounded with what I do. So, you know, I talk a lot of shit on Outlaw Radio on Monday nights. Come back, talk a lot of shit on Tuesday nights on the Big Black Sports Show, and then talk some more shit tomorrow night on Outlaw Radio again. And guess what? As an added bonus, on Thursday night, I talk some more shit on Outlaw Nation, right? Like, people like, damn. So you literally never shut up. But I do sometimes. But I still talk in my sleep. Anyways, welcome to the Big Black Sports Show, man. Like I said, man, we try to talk about sports from a black perspective. Because sports is very important. Like in our community, sports is very important, right? And its potential, there is some potential in sports for children or for young people who you know have been given some bad circumstances in life to kind of change their situation. Maybe it's going on to school, maybe it's going pro, whatever, what have you. It can you know, something that can break some generational poverty gaps. So it's important, right? And there's always a racial connotation to sports, right? Like, so, you know, sports is important. So you say, why the fuck you do a sports show? And also, I don't know how many times you've ever been watching like ESPN or like some sports show and you just totally don't agree with what they're saying on there. Like, the best solution to that is to start your own shit, right? In 2022, you can do it, right? So we're gonna talk about sports. Hey, man, we're gonna talk about sports tonight, man. Talk about your book, man.
Oh, well, once again, the book is Fullback.
Okay.
This book is Fullback, and once again, man, this book is pretty much my journey through high school, trying to pursue my love for football. And it's a great book. It's been getting really good reviews. And, man, hey, I got big plans for it. And hopefully more people will buy this book and share it with others because it's a good read. It's a true story. It's a good story. And it's very inspirational. So, hey.
So how do they get the book? How do they get it?
They can go to Amazon and Lulu. It's on paperback and it's on ebook as well. You know, if you can't read the paperback. Also, real soon, I'm trying to get an audio book published for it. Okay. So, yeah, it's doing well, man. I need to do a little bit better, though. I'm trying to make the bestsellers list. Trying to get some big things done with this book. And most importantly, I'm trying to reach a lot of youth with this book because it's a very inspirational book.
All right, so that book even kind of, you know, fortifies what I just said. It supports what I just said about sports being kind of like a conduit for change in the lives of a lot of young black males, you know, in the city. Like you get a chance through sport. I know through sports I got to kind of elevate a little bit. Like it helped me get up here. So I had to realize that there was something other than 17th and Capitol. And so sports, it enabled me to do that, right? Like it took me out the city. I got a chance to, I said, oh shit, it's a whole lot.
There's a lot of local ties in this book. You know, I talk about a lot of interactions with different coaches across the city that some people would be shocked to hear of some of the interactions that I've had with some of these coaches and some of the issues I've had with them coming up. So it's a really good read, man. And people, you know, like I say, they'd be surprised to learn some of the things that I went through and pretty much had to endure while trying to play. Especially, you know, learning some things about some of these old school local coaches that, you know, thought that we thought had our best interest at heart, and sometimes that's not always the case.
Yeah, there's a whole entire story about some of the coaches that held their positions in the city, and what they actually done like for our youngsters. There's a lot of success stories, but there's some stories where you say what. So I think yours might be one of those where it's kind of like a lot of shadiness in and out of there. But yeah, you live and you learn. Now,
Right.
what's I'm not stupid, right? Like, so shout out to my whole outlaw crew, man. My word mob, Kamar Carter, Big Rail, Courtney Francois. Last night we did a show, Outlaw Radio, of course, and the thing that dominated, the whole theme of the show was the Will Smith thing. And believe me, we're still on day 2. And I know that this would be a process of us kind of getting over this, but I guess it reverberated through the sports world even. Like, so I heard a lot of people who are sports figures give their opinions on the Will Smith thing. And I thought the funniest one by far was Shannon Sharp. So I don't know if you saw Sharp's take on the whole thing, which is basically how to whoop Will Smith's ass. Like, so it's like, I don't know if you've seen that. This shit's hilarious. But I thought, Shannon told a lot of, he told a lot of truth about, he told a lot of truth about some things in our community in terms of how we relate to each other, how we speak to each other, certain things we say that's disrespectful. And the open-handed slap is one that's like a tremendous sign of disrespect. Like, you should man, I slapped dude. You slapped him? Like, if you say you punched him, you say, damn, okay. I slapped him. You slapped him? Like, yeah. So yeah, he was hilarious, man. Stephen A. Smith is, you know what? I was really anti Stephen A. Smith. I was for a long time. But then I noticed, and then especially when it got to the point where he broke up the team with him and Max Kellerman, because of course Stephen A. is like the bell cow at ESPN. Like, he makes like $12 million a year. Like, he's like the biggest thing going. He do like what? How many shows is Stephen A. even actually on ESPN? Right? Like, so.
Right.
His opinion, he talked down on, he talked about how bad it was what Will Smith did and this kind of thing, which I did agree with, that it was wrong. So I wasn't surprised by what Stephen A. said, but I like Shannon Sharp's take on it was interesting, right? Like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had wrote up a big long. I didn't think this shit would be this serious, right? Like, so this shit's got legs. It's walking around right now. So
I mean, even Cap had an opinion on it.
A long ass diatribe that he released, like, where he just talked about, and his goes all the way back to kind of like a psychoanalyst perspective, and like really like looking at it like a social scientist, talking about our images and what society thinks of us, and just all this kind of it's a lot of. It gives a lot of depth to something that I didn't think had that much depth to it at first. I really was like, damn. But then you think about it. Something very serious must be wrong if you actually decide to slap somebody, yet alone slap them on global television. Like, it's some shit going on, right? Like, and so Will Smith, he went through psychosis in front of our very eyes last night, and I didn't even think about it until I said, well, he had these real extreme highs, like, I'm very happy I'm nominated, I'm here. Then it's hurt and it's insecurity of, oh, he just insulted my wife, and then anger, and then regret, and then happiness again. So he was crying all through. It's like this dude just broke down before our eyes. And so I guess now I see that, I guess people said the slap heard around the world. So what you think about the whole shit, man? Or did you even pay attention to it?
I did, and I was on Facebook and I saw some of the posts and some of the memes that were made already, and I mean, I'm neither here or there with it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't chosen a side because I understand both sides of the coin. I understand, wanting to slap the shit out of Chris Rock after disrespecting your wife. If given that Chris Rock knew that she had alopecia, but at the same time, it's a joke. It's a joke, and you have to be able, especially being a celebrity, you got to have thick skin, and you got to be able to handle people saying things about you. And I think, man, what it is, it's it's just all of these things. I think is a build up on Will Smith, man. The entanglement situation, that was pretty embarrassing for dude. You know, as a man, I would have to say that would embarrass the shit out of me.
I mean, it's not even that. I'm not to cut you off. Shout out to Samantha Collier. She said, "Hey, my brother, tomorrow. Hold on. Let's see. She said, "Hey, my brother, tomorrow let's blaze that, paint the city for sure. We got your back. Just tell me where you want me to promote it at, Samantha. Just tell me where you want me to promote it at. But okay, so why we keep saying it's something shallow? I keep saying it's something shallow, and I'm taking merit from it away from it because it's between two celebrities, right? And so it's very easy to dismiss this as, oh, this just $1 million nigga problems type shit, right? Or they just some celebrities and they're acting. But I think this is a demonstration of what actually happens when so much pressure from outside gets on your ass because you looking at it.
Exactly.
You got all these years. It's gotta bother you. I don't care how you
exactly. That's what I was saying. That was that pressure, like
for people to be saying, number one, you soft, you're a cornball. Your wife has basically emasculated you. And maybe I don't know if he sees it this way. So, and I'm not pretending to speak for him. This is entirely my opinion and my observation. I feel like, but I know myself and I know how I would respond in these situations if this was people consistently just every time I turn on TV. His kids are like, start with his kids, right? Like the whole. And his son is out. Is he gay? Is he straight? I don't know. Who cares? No, but this is the thing. Your kids is weird. You have this weird Hollywood marriage, which is this shit is all true. I thought DL Hewley had probably the best assessment of it when he said, you've given society the sticks to beat you with because the shit that we know about your family and about your life is shit you've told us.
Right.
Nobody was in your business and shit like that. It was shit you told us about. Hey, guess what, y'all? One time my wife was sleeping with my son's best friend, and I said, "Cool, go ahead and do it."
Well, I think August pulled the plug on that one. August pulled the plug on that one, but they didn't handle it too well either. They admitted it, but damn, like I said, she turned it into the entanglement. I think she could have explained that differently, dude.
That whole thing, and everybody knows the details, so now I think the conversation can move to the next level. Like, because if one more person bring up August Alsina or in the word entanglement, I'm probably gonna throw up.
But it starts from there though, because he's the one who exposed it.
I don't think it starts from there. I don't think
he got mad at her and told on her, and she had to explain it.
I don't think it starts from there. Especially if you read his book and he talks about being insecure about her relationship with Tupac, and like I wish she looked at me the way she looked at Tupac, and this kind of thing. Like these are some statements that indicate some trauma here, my brother. Right. So yeah,
it don't start from there, but that's a lot of fuel to the fire. That one incident there because it was so public.
Right. It's gasoline draws on, like it's what I mean. Like it's just waiting to catch on fire. So I guess my point is, and this is the sports show, so we're gonna talk about sports tonight. Shout out to y'all if y'all tuning in. Information gang, word mob in the building. The Big Black Sports Show. But this is reverberated through everybody has an opinion. You can't turn on any kind of social media and it's the fallout now is here. And so, like I said, this brother just had a breakdown. But at what point does it get to you? Because I know we've all pretty much had one of those kinds of moments where we did some shit like that. Tupac said you did some shit you shouldn't have did, so we riding for that. So ours just wasn't at the Oscars, right? Like our shit wasn't at the Oscars. So I love this is one of the flyest things about being a black man is that we will put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. I don't give a fuck what the story is. Black dude, first thing he said, I would have. So as soon as it happened, every black man in America said, I would have beat the shit out of Will Smith.
Right.
Like, so, I love that about black. And that's why I laugh when Shannon Sharp said, I'd whoop Will Smith's ass. Like he said, I would whoop him or he'd have whooped me. And then every time we seen each other after that, it would have been on site. So Shannon Sharp brought the real with it, man. I thought that shit was funny, man. But and it's you want to stop talking about it. Like it's the car accident. Like you got your hand over your face, but you peeking from between your fingers to see what happened, right? Like so it's a like a car accident in public. Like it's really what they call it. There's not when they say there's nothing here to see. There's no space of spectacle. There we go.
Right. Well, I'll say this though, it could have been worse, man. It could have been worse because Chris Rock could have fought back, and they both would have been fighting on the Oscars.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They would have been fighting live on stage, so it could have been even worse than what it was. So I give a lot of props to him, man, for controlling himself. After getting the shit slapped out of you in front of everybody.
Shout out to. I'm sorry, Tank. My fault. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was saying I give a lot of props to Chris Rock for keeping it together because he could have made it even worse.
They people say that, but if you ain't about that shit, you ain't about it. It ain't about keeping it together. You like, man, Chris Will Brody. Will would have whooped his ass. Listen, shout out to Rick Stewart. He said, "What up, Kev?" He said, "Remember them dudes are paid to act." This is very true. But you know what? I don't think this is fake. When I look at the replay, it indicates contact. When the LAPD, I hope the LAPD ain't playing along with this shit because they got way bigger fish to fry. So if they done investigated and looked at it and said, yeah, what they say, one individual won't press charges against another individual. Like, dude, we all know who the fuck they're talking about. Somebody tell me this, though. Why the fuck is OJ giving his opinion? OJ, shut the fuck up. It's OJ. If it was me, yeah, we know, motherfucker. We know OJ. We get it. Yeah, man. OJ, shut up, man. It may Kamar Carter. Shout out to Kamar Carter. He's one of the information gang members here on the People's Network. So he's AKA my co-host on Outlaw Radio. And so he said that it was all set up. He felt like it was all a contrived event that was staged. And I don't know what the purpose would be to say, okay, let's do this thing where you slap me. Because he slapped him for the sound effects. That wasn't a fake sound effect. That indicated contact as well. But I mean, what's the end game for that?
What's the purpose of it? Yeah, what would be the purpose of it if it was fixed?
I think that the media in its current form steered this into being, being a distraction from because the media has the power to do that. That's what So there's a lot of other shit going on, and we talked about a lot of that on Outlaw Radio last night, like the extreme hyper violent homicide rate here in the city of Milwaukee, the crazy ass no-win situation we're gonna be in on the 5th when we gotta go vote for a mayor between these two sorry candidates. All that kind of shit's going on in the background. So yeah, you need some entertainment. So here's the foolishness we were given. So I don't know. You said you understand it from both perspectives. So you're saying, my brother, you understand him slapping him for saying something about his wife, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I understand it. Given the circumstances that we all know, the pressures that Will Smith is under as a man, and like you said, and like a lot of people point out, well, at first he had nervous laughter before he reacted. I'm like, yeah, but because it's nervous laughter, and then you look over and you see that your wife is hurt by it. You feel like, hey, your life is already public domain. It seems like everything y'all do, everybody knows about. So I can't just sit here and allow her to just sit there looking disgusted and ashamed. I gotta react.
Right. Well, that's what I said. It's a whole psychological cycle that he goes through this whole night, from extreme happiness when he get there, like, yes, I brought my whole family, my movie, I'm being nominated for this award, to and being embarrassed and then getting mad and like these is all different emotions, and you ain't supposed to go through them all that close together that fast.
True, but and I mean, I look at the whole incident itself, man, and I also look at Chris Rock. They say that Chris Rock is good friends with them. So if Chris Rock knows that she has alopecia and that she feels a certain way about her appearance, I wouldn't touch it.
No, the word
I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't choke on her. If
the
they're
word
friends,
is that he did not know, Tank. The word is that he did not know. He did not.
Okay.
You gotta get
okay.
That
Well, okay. Well, hey, you know what?
I don't want to hear
job,
that
man.
I don't want to hear that. Right, let him do his job, but I don't want to hear that either. I'm gonna tell you why. Rick said to shake up the world because everyone's talking about it. The plan work. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. People talking about it. Shit. Yeah, that's. Yeah, it's and it's dominating the media right now. Let's see, we got a caller.
I saw some of the posts and some of the memes that were made already.
Caller, give me a call back. I missed your call.
I mean, I'm neither here or there with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. You live on the Big Black Sports Show.
Okay, well, you know.
Okay, I didn't get the caller. My bad. I was trying to bring the caller in. Go ahead. What was you saying, Tank?
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. He said he should have slapped the person who gave her that dress to shout out to Rick Stewart. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole bunch of so much other stuff happened, and this is what we're talking about. But let's be honest. It is big news when somebody walk up to somebody else and slaps the shit out of them. That's big news.
Two A-list celebrities.
I mean, there's bigger news, like the fact that we had a triple homicide here over the weekend, and we're double the murder rate here right now that we were last year. It's other shit to talk about. I'm not saying it's not, but this is definitely something to address. And there's so many different issues that are put on blast. The accusations. It's one of those things that somebody's response to this question lets you know kind of like what kind of person they are. Like, so if you say, oh yeah, he should have did that. I see some Brody brothers saying he was absolutely right. I would have did the same shit. I would have got up, I would have slapped the shit. And I'm sitting there like, really? I don't, and I've been married 21 years and I love my wife like cook food. And even the conversation that I had with her was centered around, I would have expected you to react, but to have done it the right way. Right. So there was a million different ways he could have done that, but I felt like the pressure to perform, the pressure. Honestly, I don't think Chris Rock was acting. Will Smith may have been acting. Let's say that then. Maybe in Will Smith's mind, this was a scene in Bad Boys because he had this emotional overdose. This whole kind of what just happened, like type. So maybe he thought he was Mike Lowry or something. I don't know. But it warrants conversation. But it's a sports show, man. So really, the whole conversation was sitting around some athletes, some famous athletes, their reaction to it, and there's different sides of the fence on this, as just like anything else in our community. People are polarized by it. And because it brings so much out. Like when I seen Tiffany Haddish saying, well, it's good to see a husband stand up for his wife, and you don't usually see that. How would you know? You're not married. You don't be around married people like that. How would you know? How would she know? Somebody explain that to me. How would she know?
These nuts.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, when I hear, and then once again, they utilize this to take a shot at brothers, because who's writing this narrative that we don't protect our wives and that we don't protect our homes and our daughters and our families? Where's that? Who's writing that? Because it's not true. Because I know a bunch of brothers who hold their shit down, and they will lay their shit down in a minute if they had to protect their people. So
I guess my question also is, why do people feel that this makes us look bad? Why do people feel as a whole this makes our people look bad? I don't see it. I see two A-list celebrities arguing with each other. Well, not arguing with each other, but having a confrontation with each other. I don't think it's as abnormal as people think it would be. I think two white A-list celebrities could easily be in the same position.
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. Hold on, let's see if we can bring the caller in this time. Caller, you live on the Big Black Sports Show.
Hey, what's up, Kev? It's Tone out in Portland. What's going on with you?
What up, man? How you doing, my brother?
I'm all right. Sitting out here living, man. Listening to this little conversation y'all have.
That's what's up,
man.
man.
I'm just tripping off the whole thing myself. The brother was like, he's wondering why people saying they make us look bad. It's because it's on a big stage.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's on a big stage, and it makes us look like we don't know how to act. I mean, and this is after, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? We didn't even have anybody up there that was nominated that was African American. You know what I'm saying? So that's one example. But also, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. This is an example of also female toxicity. How do you say it? Female? What do they call it? Male toxicity?
Yeah.
Or toxicity, whatever the hell it is.
Toxicity.
But this female, man, this man she has put this man in the most peculiar situations on television, out in public, and in this situation. And basically when he goes off, he starts to cry, which I think is straight bullshit. I'm like, shit, man up and admit it. Hey, nigga, it happened.
Right.
But at the same time, for him to overreact like that, that's a female reaction. And then to go up to slap the man. Own that shit. Just let it know, man. All this shit is behind his wife, man. This is behind his wife and the position she's put himself in. If I'm gonna be honest with you, ask yourself this question: if that were your son, what would you tell him?
I would have been pissed off at him, especially if he's about his money and he's rich. I would have been mad and feel like you put the whole kingdom at risk. Once again, if this what this actually has done, and like I put the cap on this conversation because I know this is day 2. I put the cap on it last night by saying something happened here that we have to take note of, and that is immediately we as Black people started communicating directly with each other via social media, via whatever outlets, platforms we have that we listen to. We start talking to each other about how this looked, what was the optics and everything. And see, what we need to do is we need to do that about everything, right? We need to utilize this ability to communicate and express ourselves and articulate how we feel. We need to apply this to every other thing that happens in our community, in this country. Like we need to be doing that about crime and poverty in our communities. We need to be having these kinds of right back and forth, right? So it shouldn't be about 2 celebrities that's got all these conversations about how we feel as men and how we deal with pressure and how we, conflict resolution and our relationships with our women. All these are conversations we should be having naturally, but we're forced to do this now because of this whole whatever it is. And my boy Rick Stewart said that it was all a sham anyways. And Kamar Carter said it was all staged. So I guess we ain't talking about nothing anyways. We talking about some bullshit, right?
No, that ain't no bullshit. It's a serious situation, man. It's 2 situations I look at that. Like I said, man, you remember going to school and let's say you got a fine chick or something. You got everybody hitting on her. And say the dude smile at her and she smile back. That's giving him some, you know what I'm saying? It's all about what kind of position the woman puts the man in as well. See, we always bitching about what's happening with the man and how the man responds to the home and all that. But nobody ever puts the woman in the front and saying, hey, listen, dude, you really putting him in a bad position. Because right now, I'm gonna be honest.
So was she wrong for responding that way? Was she wrong for being offended?
Yeah, she was wrong. He's a comedian. You are.
She was wrong for being offended.
Yes, you out in public with your head out. You bald headed.
You know what? Listen, she can look however she wants. She can roll her eyes. She can do whatever she want to do. But at the end of the day, what this stem from is a long line of
bald headed when you left the house
that she's put him in. And also, dude, they're sharing the dirt. Sharing their dirt. What's that?
My thing is, how's she wrong?
I'm sorry. Hold on, Tank. I had Ewoks on the other line. I was telling him to hold on, because the line is filling up. So I was telling him to hold on. I was gonna get to his call, but I'm just, it's sad because I don't even I'm mad at myself because I'm still talking about this. Right. I'm mad at myself right now but it is so many layers to the conversation. It's not easily that dismissive as much as we would want to. It's not that it just like I said, this just happened to happen between 2 celebrities. So we want to say that ain't shit, right? But in reality, shit like this happens every day, right? Like where some dudes decided he's going to go ahead and try to defend his lady, and then the reverse of that happens too, where somebody ends up getting fucked up. So
worse.
So just thank God nothing like that happened. Let's learn from it, and I would just say let's just keep up the communication, man. Let's keep communicating with each other.
I mean, have y'all seen the new episodes of Will Smith?
I ain't saying I'm disagreeing with Scott. I'm saying he shouldn't have done it on national TV. That was filmed around the world, so you got the world that's going to talk about it now.
Right? Yeah, that shit's on.
Hey, it's the new show, man. It's the new show. The new show got a harder edge to it. Will been watching the new show. He's just getting he hard now.
Nah, man.
The Fresh Prince is hard now, dude.
Will just had a breakdown, man. Will got
it.
Will
lost it, man.
He all right, man.
Will lost it.
Will, but you in Hollywood, get you some. He can get the finest of the. I would get the stickiest of the ickiest and go somewhere and just chill for about 3 months on the island and not talk to nobody. and just relax, man. You got to fall back. You got to do some retrospectives here, Will. Like, so it ain't enough to give a false ass apology or to dance to your corny whack ass songs at the after party. That's the most awkward shit I seen. Like, everybody standing around like they like that fucking whack ass music. They don't want him to hit me and shit. Like, and he had the trophy in his hand, swinging it around. Get jiggy with it, motherfucker. So yeah, man. But yeah, man, thanks for calling, man. And man, I ain't chopped it up with you in a minute, man. You gotta hit my line, man.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been busy with these mortgages, man. I'm gonna have to call and advertise a little piece, man.
Man, we can. You know we can talk about that.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, y'all go ahead and stay up, man. I'm gonna continue to watch, man, and stay safe, brother.
Oh, my brother, thanks for calling. I sure enough appreciate you, man. All right, man. That's my man right there, man. I went to middle school with that dude. Right.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And Ant was a hell of a back. He was a hell of a running back. He went to Bayview, had some big numbers, and that's what. And we ran into each other on the road playing football. Like, I hadn't seen each other since middle school, and then ran into each other in college. So that's my man. He walked the grave. What's cool with you, my brother?
You know it all, man. You know it all. He walked the grave. I'd rather eat bums with crumbs than eat motherfucking steak with fake. Larry Purdue, Big Tank,
yes,
coming
sir.
up the backfield.
Ewok.
Ready to go, Tank. Ready.
What it do, big homie?
You ready, Tank?
Hey,
you still ready?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready right now. I can give you 1 or 2 downs right now.
That's all
man,
2 or 3 hard yards.
Shit without no coat on. I ain't got no coat on. I got a Giannis t-shirt and shit.
I'm like these kids. I call Cap on Tank time, but he got 1, 2 downs in it. You better get your ass out of here.
Yeah, Tank still might run a motherfucker over down here. Shit. I don't know. He might do have a couple of them. Shit, you never know what a nigga still got in the tank for.
Hey, I might get the first, dude.
He might kill.
All I gotta do is fall forward.
Hey, back to this Will Big Willie style shit, man. That shit wasn't cool at all, man. You don't go up there and slap nobody on national television and shit, man, because you got emotional, man. Period, point blank. It's worldwide. They watch Oscars over in Europe, over in Britain and shit. Them motherfuckers be up for Oscars too and shit, overseas and shit.
Right.
This motherfucker took it upon himself. But first of all, he laughed at the joke. And then once he seen Jada Pinkett roll her eyes, he decided to go up there. Did you see the whole thing? You decided that your emotions gonna change when your bitch, goddamn it, rolled her motherfucking eyes, and now you want to be a man? Get the fuck out of here, nigga. You could have checked that nigga at all different. It's more than one way to skin a cat. You didn't have to do it like that.
Your fellow ego, Ladella Greer's in the chat room snapping. He said, "Fuck that nigga." Shout out to my big homie Joey Phillips.
Man Dota in the house.
Shout out to
what up, nigga?
Shout out to my big homie, man
Dota.
He said Will should have slapped the Pookie. He said he should have slapped Pookie. No, he has a dope problem. No, I think it was staged. JoJo, I agree with you. I think it was. No, I don't think it was staged, but I don't think he should have slapped.
Chris
Pookie.
Rock got too much money in his pocket to be staged and shit. Now, back in his Pookie days, maybe then I can understand. He wanted to do a little trick the people type shit. No, both of them got too much money, and for a lawsuit and all of that shit. Both of them got too much money for that. If Chris Rock sued Will Smith, they're going to talk about him for suing him. You know what I'm saying? So they done chopped it up already and shit. Will apologized like, man, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that to you. Will already told that man face to face that shit. Believe it.
I disagree. I mean, I seen a slap, right? That's why I say I don't agree that it was staged. Because once again, I shout to Rick Stewart, who made the comment earlier. He said that the purpose was to shake up the world, and we're still talking about it. Once again, so
what is the purpose?
Chris Rock's tour is sold out now. Okay, it's so, and Jada and Will just announced that they're going to discuss this affair on the Red Table podcast. So what's going to happen is this will do record numbers for a podcast in the history of podcasting, right? Like so I guess you could say what's the end game to create some really fresh buzz for some 50-year-old plus actors in Hollywood. But then that's one way to look at it.
Hey, Kev, if you got $50 million and shit in the bank, you gonna let a motherfucker slap you in your face?
I'm not that well. 50 million, I might let you slap me on TV. $50 million.
But if you already got the 50, I'm saying you already got the 50. You ain't thirsty at all. Are you gonna allow somebody to snap you in your face?
Hey.
God damn it! What the fuck else can you get? What the fuck else can you get? You got $50 million. Come on, Kev, think about it. You got $50 million in the bank already.
Ain't nothing like
you
50,
gonna allow your reputation and shit on the line and shit and all of that shit. I'm Chris Rock. I came from Pookie to this, and then I'm gonna get slapped in my motherfucking face. Come on, man.
Ladella snapped. He said, "Answer the damn phone. Sports talk. Will can't score touchdowns."
I'm gonna let Doda call in, man. Let Doda call in, man. I'm gonna get off here.
That's the Ewok, man.
Ewok.
All right, one love.
All right, my brother. Doda's in the chat room snapping. He said, "Answer the damn phone." Shout out to Ladella, man. My bad, big homie. Oh man, you deboed the shit out of me, right? Like that's the damn phone. But yeah, man, we ain't even talked about a damn sports story yet. So, like, I want to get, if y'all still want to, put up your opinion on Will and Jada, that's fine. I did want to discuss because the show is supposed to be about sports. So, like, the biggest news is the further bleeding of the Packers over this week. And it's this time it was Marquez Valdes-Scantling, right? Like, who was the burner in the Packer offense, right? Like, and he went to Kansas City for $10 million a year for 3 years because Kansas City traded Tyreek Hill, right? Like, which for me was the biggest wow moment of this football offseason, right? Like, because Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in the NFL. You can talk all the shit you want about Devontae Adams, right? But Tyreek Hill go get a bucket, as they say. That dude, phenomenal.
The best receiver or the fastest receiver?
Best receiver. The biggest
the
threat.
Best?
The best receiver. The biggest threat, at all times, this dude is 6 points waiting to happen. Like, because nobody can cover him. And it's not just speed. He's not just a speed guy. He runs good routes. He has good hands. So he is, and Devontae Adams, what happens in the playoffs? He hasn't really had big, huge games in the playoffs because he's not a burner, right? So when we say, oh, Devontae is the best, Devontae is the best regular season receiver. Regular season receiver. He is the best. He in the regular season.
I don't think Devontae is the best either. I don't think he's the best either. He got good stats.
Okay.
Good numbers. He's one of the best. But shit, DK Metcalf.
DK, yeah, he don't got the numbers. If you gotta have the numbers, what do you mean? What are we talking about? Potential?
He had good stats last year. We had good stats the year before, I think. He's a beast, man. 6'4", over 200. Deep threat, runs a 4.3.
He is a physical specimen, but he ain't got no. It don't matter. I mean,
closest thing to Calvin Johnson that we've seen.
No, hell no.
Closest thing to Calvin Johnson we've seen. Come on, y'all.
You a size queen.
Go look at some of those Seahawks. Go look at some of those Seahawks clips, dude.
I've seen him. No, he's not. He ain't got the numbers.
He's a beast. Oh my gosh! Come on, DK Metcalf.
He doesn't
not
have
the other receiver over there. I'm talking about DK.
I know exactly who you're talking about. He doesn't have the numbers. Big Dota, man, you live on the Big Black Sports Show, man. You clowning, you deboing me and shit, man. What's going on?
What's going on, my people?
Dota water.
What's happening with you, man?
Man, hey, I done had enough of this goddamn Will and Jada and Chris Rock shit.
Yeah, we all have, but you can't stop talking about this shit, right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
I know. Me and my wife got an argument over it. That's all I'm saying.
Shit, maybe Kamar and them right, man. Maybe they did do this to get us talking. Hey, maybe they did do this to get us talking. Kamar and them might be right, man. Because we can't stop talking about it. This shit was crazy.
That man said,
right?
What?
Hey, but I'm gonna give you some real shit though.
Okay.
The shit get on my nerves. You know, y'all know me.
Yes, sir.
The shit burns me to my britches because everybody know it was a reaction from his bitch, but fuck Will, and because he probably done fucked and all that shit. Fuck him.
But I look at a motherfucker like my boy from the Baltimore Ravens when he was going through that drama and she ran up on him in that thing. He was wrong for knocking her out unconscious on the elevator.
She spit on him.
He still was wrong for knocking her unconscious. But
He
this
gave her a
man,
combination.
this man lost everything. All he ever did, you know, and all three of us come from that lineage where all you ever do at a certain point when you know football or sport or basketball, whatever, is going to be your future. You put all your eggs in that shit.
Okay.
And just like he put all his eggs in that basket, and he lost everything from that one wrong move.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But he couldn't make movies. He could score touchdowns, but he couldn't make movies. You know, he wasn't Jim Brown.
Right. Well, and the thing is, we don't know what led. Obviously, they had this kind of crazy relationship where some of this shit had to have been the norm. So there was a buildup to this even. And so that's why I said what we seen from Will was like total psychosis, like a nervous breakdown on TV, because he goes from extremely happy and excited to be there, and then he goes into like laughter, and then he's shocked and embarrassed, and then he's pissed and he snaps, and then he's back emotional because he wins the award, and then he's singing jiggy with your shit at like after party. So this motherfucker went through every emotion.
Here's what it is. Because, you know, me being an educator and, you know, I'm like his influence on the people, it's the reality of the world we live in. Even this $1 billion nigga got to deal with the ills of us $1,000.
Okay.
And it all affects us. It goes to shows how deep our damage is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. And that's why we keep talking about it. And that's why I even try to talk about the Packers. And we brothers still like, no, we're gonna talk about this shit.
It's gonna go back to that.
Okay.
It's coming in full circle in the sports, because, you know, I'm a sports nigga, you know, but I had to lean into that, and then I went into the old boy from Baltimore, how he lost everything.
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice. He didn't have a platform like Will to rebuild or come out the other end.
Yeah, it was a one-trick pony.
He invested his whole life in sports, and it's a trickle down effect where now we see this same violence and this same slaps going on in peewee games, from the referee to the parents. And I'm glad it's being brought up, but where it needs to get away from is the sensationalism of the stars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's what I said. That's why it's so easy for us on the surface to dismiss this, because it's two rich celebrities. So we want to say, oh, that's bullshit. That's why you got so many people saying it's staged. It couldn't be real, because they're both rich celebrities. Like, it's like so they detach from reality, right? Like, they don't slap the shit out of each other because, hey, I won't.
No, that wasn't no way that was staged. That was like, everybody know that was a mental breakdown.
That's what I think. That's what I'm looking at it as. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, yeah, I believe that. I believe it was. I think Will broke down in front of. I mean, that pressure finally got to him at the biggest stage, the biggest moment of his career so far. That pressure finally got to him, and this is what happened.
Now here's where it goes to. Everything we're talking about with this, and now I'm gonna bring it back to sports and the psychological warfare part of sports, and even on the high school level. Everybody is taught from what they saw. Now, we just saw one of our biggest stars in Hollywood walk up on stage and slap a man.
Mm-hmm.
On a daily basis, I deal with parents coming up to the school threatening teachers, talk about what they'll do.
Okay.
I walked away from football because of what I seen, what was happening to the sports. Every week I went to look at our youth play football, I saw violence.
You talking about outside? You talking about in the crowd? You're not talking about on the field. You're talking about in the crowd, right?
Well, it led to the field.
Okay. Wow.
And this is coming from sports. Sports is controlled aggression.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We all come from this background of aggression and being aggressive in the streets. And we was blessed to be in sports because sports gave us an avenue to release this aggression.
That's right. That's right. No doubt.
Now, here's where I'm going. Once you do not have an avenue to release your aggression, and no matter who you are, we all have aggression. From the nerdiest dude to the most virile, strong motherfucker you know. We all have aggression. Where does that outlet go? It doesn't go away. Burns, just because you was a tenacious defensive lineman in your day, that tenaciousness doesn't go away. But you have to become a family man and balance it.
No doubt.
These guys went on a higher level where they take more. Now, we done took our share of concussion. I had to tackle Tank every fucking day. You wonder why I'm crazy.
Hey, man, but let me tell you something, though, man.
It's
I don't want to get off subject, but Liddell, best fucking hands I ever seen on the defensive lineman. Continue, bro.
Man. It sounds like y'all need to get a room.
I can tell you a lot about this dude. His athletic ability, man, but I don't want to get off subject. Let's keep rolling.
Right. It's turned into what Della would have done to goddamn Will Smith. Della, you wasn't there. Right.
Hey, I saw Lord Jamal's podcast.
Say that again.
I saw Lord Jamar's podcast, and Godfrey said if Will Smith would have came up there and slapped him, he would have kicked him in his back hard as fuck. Right. He would have kicked him in his lower spine hard as hell.
Everybody talking about what they would have done, and I'm here to tell you this. This was an observation. God damn it! And it's like every time I try to get out, they pull me. They pull me back. Right, like they keep pulling me back in. But this is the thing. I keep hearing what cats are saying they would have done. The reality is some of y'all ain't never even slapped nobody. Some of y'all only done got slapped. Some of you dudes who talk about what you would do for your wife ain't never won a fist fight in your life. So you could talk about, man, I wish he'd have came up on me. A lot of you dudes wouldn't have threw a brick at the side of a barn, man. So stop it with all the keyboard killers and the mouse pad monsters. And I'd have hit Will in the back end. Will would have knocked your ass out. You'd have been embarrassed. Laid out, man. So especially I see like dudes talking about, yeah, you disrespect mine. I'm getting serious about mine and all this kind of shit. I know how some of these cats really live in real life, and I'm just like sitting here like, man. Or my son say, Dad, that's Big Cap. That's Big Cap, man. Come on, you wouldn't have done shit. So, but some of these dudes like Shannon Sharp, big country ass. I believe he probably would have grabbed Will and threw him off the stage. But some of these dudes and some of you cats on Facebook, y'all wouldn't have done shit, man. Y'all did. And I've seen some of you dudes walk away with your girl after somebody done disrespected her in public. So I don't know why all of a sudden everybody became so chivalrous all of a sudden. Because I died about mine and all that bullshit. I've seen you niggas talking about, come on, girl, let's go. Trying to go outside and call your cousin and shit. Stop it, man. I'm sorry. It takes me on a tangent, man. I'm supposed to be talking about the Packers' need for speed at wide receiver. We wasted a full hour of my fucking show talking about this shit. Let's get back on sports, man. Let's get back on sports, Tank.
Let's do it, man. Packers need receivers.
The Packers need receivers.
Packers need receivers.
Yes. It's the Big Black Sports Show, man. You're welcome to call in. Give me your opinion. Ewok said, Pookie. He said, Ali slapped Pookie. He said, would he have slapped Tupac? I don't think would he have slapped Tupac? Draw me back in. But okay, so hey. I was looking at the draft, right? Like, so in the Packers, the compensation for Devontae Adams. And they got a couple picks for Valdez-Scantling, or did they? Or was he not signed? I don't know what they got for him. I don't think they got anything from.
I think we just lost him.
Yeah, but for Devontae, we got a first-round draft pick, a second, some other picks. The Packers are rich in draft capital right now, but the problem is over the last 10, 12 years, the Packers haven't drafted exceptionally well. They haven't used the receiver. They haven't gotten a receiver in the first round. I think it may be 20 years. I think it's Javon Javon Walker back in the days who came and played. Remember Javon Walker way back in the days?
He was a good receiver.
Yeah, he was serviceable. He wasn't.
He was good.
He was all right.
He wasn't great, but he was good though. He gave us some good games.
Yeah, he got more money than me, I guess, if that's the way we can. He made more money in the NFL than I did, right? Like, because I didn't make none, right? But no, but this kid from Ohio State that I'm hoping, Olave, that's there. It's a bigger kid, fast kid, can run good routes, can catch the ball.
Yep.
Yes. Because the one thing
I
seen the interview for LaFleur, with LaFleur, and when he was talking about there's definitely a need to grab some speed. But the loss of these receivers, I hope people are not looking at this like, well, this is management's fault. The reality of this is, and Tank, you and I were both talking about this before the show, is you can't pay everybody. You can't. Aaron Rodgers took up so much, but you can't pay everybody. So they, for Valdez-Scantling to walk. But maybe it's time to go in a different direction offensively and get some young receivers in here who can catch the ball.
And the good thing about that is this draft is full of fast-ass receivers. I watched the receiver part of the combine, and I'm telling you, man, these dudes they was ripping off sub 4.3 40s like it was the shit. I'm not talking about 4.36, 4.3. I'm talking about the high 4.3s, 4.31, 4.32, 4.29. You know what I'm saying? And it was like shit. It was like about 6 or 7 of them.
Well, they're saying the boy from Georgia who got hurt and missed most of the season with the ACL tear is probably the best out of all of them. So, but Tank, see, this goes back to me with your running back, your running back fetish. How you were so hooked on running backs, and I was telling you, because of the style that they play in college football right now, there's more receivers that are pro football ready than there ever has been. So it won't be hard if the Packers do their research to get some young, fast wide receivers. Ewok, turn your device down for me, my brother.
Look here, man. The Packers ain't finna be shit.
Right. Okay.
All right. Let me get away from the motherfucker. Look here, man. The Packers ain't finna be shit for the next 7 years.
Okay.
They gave all the money to Aaron Rodgers. Shit. Now, Aaron Rodgers was a bad motherfucker. He earned his stripes. He earned them. He really did. But he only got 1 Super Bowl ring. But let me tell you something else about Aaron Rodgers. He robbed them. On the way out the door, he robbed the shit out of them. And then that's why they ain't got no receivers now.
Okay.
Don't give him shit. Fuck him. Nigga, let that other motherfucker play. Start rebuilding right now. Y'all done gave Aaron Rodgers all the goddamn money. And just like that Bears gave Jay Cutler all they goddamn money, and he was shit.
These nuts.
Rodgers ain't gonna do nothing. Packers ain't gonna do shit for the next 7 years.
First of all, let it be said that this man is a Bears fan, so let's get that out there.
Right.
Yeah, they're right.
Right. So there's a lot of emotion there. I feel a lot of Will Smith type heat coming off the end of that couch right now. On the goddamn Chicago Bears shit. So yeah, I mean, wouldn't you love it if they won shit for the next 7 years? It still wouldn't make it for the last 30 that's been since y'all was worth a damn. Speaking of 1 Super Bowl ring, that's the Bears only have 1. So total overall, right? So Aaron Rodgers already has more or just as many as your whole franchise.
Was Rex Grossman. That motherfucker had 4 motherfucking turnovers in the Super Bowl. Devin Hester ran 2 back. The Bears supposed to win that motherfucker, and you know it.
Jada, come get your man.
What Aaron said on the Bears?
You a fool ass nigga, man. I can't fuck with you. But
Aaron
I can't.
On the Bears.
God damn it. You fucking with me, you fucking with the best, Kevin.
Right. What my man say? I'm
one of the illest, quick, wittiest motherfuckers on earth around here now. Fuck with me some more and see what happens.
Yeah, man. I'm Doc Holliday, man. I'm your Huckleberry.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how long you last.
Say when. Ain't that what he said in the
movie?
movie?
Daisy if you do.
Y'all ain't never seen
Daisy if you do.
You're right. You're a daisy if you do, right? Yeah, I know you Bear fans is plotting on our downfall. And see, that's why I'm going into this conversation about the Vikings. So I don't know if you want to stick around for the Vikings, because I want to talk about the trash ass Vikings. The Vikings is the dude. The Vikings are they the dude in the room at the party who like see 4 other dudes come out the room with the girl and be like, I'm
What
nuts.
about the cowardly liars?
Well, now let's stick with the Vikings for a minute, because I'm tired of the Vikings.
Okay, let's stick on one bum at a
One
time.
bum at a time. We already talked about the Bears, so let's talk about the next bum. Yeah, man. So the Vikings who must like hang around and the Packer locker room and sniff jock straps because they only sign former, like, what is up? They got Shannon Sullivan, they got Zadarius Smith. God damn, do you want everybody get somebody trade them? What's my man name that they drafted? Jordan Love. Somebody trade them so we can get Cousins as our backup and shit. Like, somebody trade them, man. Because the Vikings, come on, man. They are another kind of like what do you call it? Like a soft franchise that they don't even have a Super Bowl ring. They've never even won a Super Bowl. And so their fans are super envious of what goes on over here in the the cheese state, the dairy state. It's like the fans in Michigan as well, who also never won a Super Bowl. Like, so it's like, okay, man, we live in the wackest. We play in the wackest division in football. This is the worst division in football.
The Dallas Cowboys division, whatever that is the wackest and shit, because you can go to the fucking playoffs and only won 4 games.
I don't think our division is worse than the
That's a good
NFC
point.
East. I think the NFC East is better than the Central, man. I really do. Because after the Packers, everybody else is losers. The rest of the conference is straight dysfunctional. When the last time since Stafford has gone from Detroit, there really is no. I mean, okay, so I keep saying I like Cousins. I like Cousins, but he's not an elite quarterback. Like, he's not, that dude, right? So, it's after Rodgers. No wonder I'm sure Chicago fans got so many hits out on Aaron Rodgers. Like, they'd run his ass over with a car if they could, man, just to laugh. And guess what? The Packers would still beat the Bears with Jordan Love playing quarterback. That's how sorry the Bears
I don't
are.
know. Wait a minute, Kev. Now, I call blasphemy on that bullshit. Now, you talking real stupid now. The Packers ain't got nobody no more. I know you like your Packers. I know you like 29th and Capitol and all of that shit.
No. You got
man,
me mixed
you
up.
can't be saying that blasphemous bullshit.
You got me mixed up.
They can't beat the Bears without nobody. You crazy as hell. They ain't got nobody.
The Bears don't even have anybody anymore either. They just gave away Khalil Mack.
What do they have? What the fuck? They don't have anybody. Yeah, they got rid of Khalil Mack. You're right. But hold on.
They got rid of Khalil Mack. That's the defense right there.
I don't know what Ernest is talking about 29th and Capitol. I grew up on 17th and Capitol. I don't know nothing about no 29th.
Nigga, the same area code. Just walk down the block. You'll be on 29th.
Put some respect on our block, man. Come on now. Don't do that.
Man, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? I love and respect everybody, man. 17th, 15th. I don't give a fuck. I ride all around that motherfucker. Still to this day.
Marshall students can't count, don't know numbers and shit. God damn, John Marshall.
Hey, Tank, man, tell Kev to quit gang get on this fucking radio station show, man.
Man, hey, he dissing the alma mater, man. He dissing Marshall. What's going on here? This King kid.
Who that talking about whooping 2-7? Who that? Who that?
Who they is senior citizens, right? Like 70-year-old gang. We know what.
I bet them 2-4 niggas didn't fuck with them.
Hey, we know y'all sign now. It's the handicap sign. That's what y'all spray paint on buildings now.
Y'all stayed y'all ass right there in that 4-block radius and shit over 24th and 19th and shit like that. That was y'all little area code. Y'all couldn't go nowhere else, and you know it.
That's not an argument or a discussion we finna have on the Big Black Sports Show. So I'm gonna let you.
All right, well, stop fucking with me, then.
We can ride out on that. That's like a nigga saying that's why your mama got cancer or some shit like that, right? Like when he run out of ribs. Like,
I didn't run out of no ribs, nigga. Your location was your location. You know that shit.
I don't know about hey. Yeah, man.
Hey, man. Hey, I gotta bring this back. I gotta bring this back in, man. Gotta bring this back in.
I got a partner around the corner that say y'all still owe some taxes for that 2-7 tax, nigga. I'm gonna leave this shit alone, man. Bobby.
All right, man. All right. Yeah, I don't know about
Hey, getting back to the Vikings, dude.
What you say?
Getting back to the Vikings.
Right.
Out of the teams in the North, man, that's the team I would worry about. Okay. Because they have pieces. You know what I'm saying? It's just I don't think they're going to be as good as us next year.
What other team? What other team you talking about? What team? What team in the Central?
That's what I'm saying. That's the only team that I think would give us an issue is Minnesota because they still got pieces. They still got a damn good running back.
Right. Okay.
Like you said, you like Cousins. You like him enough to run the offense. Now, what's that receiver over there? They may have the best receiver in the league.
No. He's not. But he is good though. He is good. Justin Jefferson.
He's very good. He's at least top 10. Yeah, is it Jefferson?
Is that just Justin Jefferson? Hit me up, Ladella. Ewok was on the phone. That's why the line was tied up. Is it Justin Jefferson? In many, because what's the boy name in Cincinnati? We should know this shit if we do a sports show, right? Like
DeMar Chase.
Okay, so it's Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. He is very good. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you this: Zimmer kind of gave them identity because he was he's one of the better defensive minds in football. He's gone. Right, they want to try and go in a direction where they want this kind of offensive machine. So that means you can't start. Some of those stars on defense are going to be gone, right? And they getting a little long in the tooth as well, right? Like so, the Vikings you right. They have some football players there. They don't have championship pieces. They are no threat to win even their division next year. I mean, what I'm saying is in terms of the NFC West and the AFC West are both packed divisions. Like they all got talent. Just especially the AFC, they done went crazy. They went got everybody goddamn players. But the Vikings just pissed me off because they just stay getting ex-Packers. What's up with that shit? Like it's 30 other teams in the league. I feel like it shows the envy of Green Bay. Like, don't get me wrong, Chicago will slip one in there too. Chicago will slip somebody a signing in there. Like that motherfucker used to play for Green Bay, didn't he? Yes. So it's I don't like the Vikings. I never have. I've never been a Viking fan. As a matter of fact, I've always felt like Viking fans were more annoying than Bear fans. And Bear fans are annoying. Like they're just totally delusional. Jim McMahon was a long time ago, motherfucker. So
yeah, I mean they both teams aren't really going to give us too much of a challenge this season, but
no, the Packers
out of the teams that, the point I'm trying to make is that out of the teams that are in the North, the Minnesota Vikings is the team that I think has the better chance of coming up and surprising us. That's it. I don't think they can compete with us right now. Even with our problems at receiver, they can't compete with us right now. But, man, if we don't shore up some of these issues we got, I still believe that we need to find a special teams coach, and we need to get him the resources he needs.
They got one. Huh? They hired the guy from the Raiders who was the head coach that everybody loves so much. He's a special teams coordinator in Green Bay now. Dodo, what's going on, man? I got you on the line.
Hey,
and I should be on top of that.
But I think him and Brian Lee was two of the craziest niggas that come out of March.
He's certainly crazy as fuck, right? Like, he's
Hey, but y'all done hit it right on the point, man. And here's my issue. Y'all I got in kind of late away from the receiver talk. Here's the issue though, and you guys both come from coaching backgrounds too, man. The way Aaron Rodgers worked with Devontae Adams, the receiver and the quarterback got to have a connection. Right. But my question to both of you, when was the last time a high-powered offense won all Super Bowls since the greatest show on turf?
What's the question again?
The Kansas City Chiefs a couple years ago.
Kansas City Chiefs, good answer. That I would agree with that. So,
Eddie, what was the question?
He said, when was the last time there was a high-powered offense that won the Super Bowl?
Okay.
So I would agree. I was one of the thousands of Packer fans who was angry at Davante Adams leaving because of their connection. But I was more worried about Douglas leaving on the defensive side of the ball. I was more worried about Clark leaving.
Okay.
Serious, it bothered me, but you got injured, bro. You a beast, you a stud. I don't know how you're gonna recover after that injury.
It's a bad one.
And defense still in the majority wins championships.
That's right.
That's true.
Right now, the Packers are loaded on defense. We got Stokes is a young guy who got tested over and over again. If he worked out, he should be ready. Douglas, he came in to change our defense. Clark,
and we didn't have and we didn't have Zaire all year.
Yeah, Jair was out.
Hey, that's a great point too.
We got cornerbacks.
They may be able to afford to let them go. How healthy is our tight end? The tight end is almost bigger than the receiver right now. And then y'all was talking about. I think he landed in a good position. I think Kansas City, put it out there like he's a speed. Like, all we need is a speed guy. This speed guy is all over the place. You better holler at Deion Sanders.
But hey, we were just talking about that. How in the draft there are plenty of receivers, man, that are running sub 4.3 40s. This year alone, it's at least 7 to 10 of them with blazing speed, and a few of them hit 4.2s.
I think. Well, to touch on what you said though, in regards to Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers connection, I think it's certainly something to that. But I think, Tank and I had this conversation when this happened. First of all, Davante Adams should understand that David Carr, he's not Aaron Rodgers. So you're not 90%. I'm not even saying 90%. That would be wrong. I would say 40% of the greatest catches that Davante Adams made came on some unbelievable passes thrown by Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron had just as big of a part of his success as his own individual efforts did. He's a talented dude, obviously, but Aaron Rodgers threw some ropes to him sometimes where it's like nobody else in the league can make that throw. So he has to know that David Carr cannot do that. So if people,
but check this out. David Carr cannot do that, but David Carr has what with Davante Adams? They have a connection.
They know each other.
He's going to continue that connection. So it's going to benefit Davante Adams. Will Las Vegas Raiders win the Super Bowl?
No. You know what
that college connection. You got the college connection.
Will go in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, he's first ballot, no doubt.
And he's going to be a multi-millionaire. He's going to be in there, however he plays the money. Life's going to be great for him. Fuck him too. But as far as winning football games and championships, right now the Packers are still in the best position to win the championship, even with Tom Brady coming back. They lost a lot of pieces. They lost a lot of pieces to that defense. We did not. We are still the strongest team in the NFL. Fuck Denver. They're rebuilding. The only team that really can compete with us is us. On paper.
Well, I think City still looks strong.
First of all, I think what you just described with David Carr and Davante Adams sound like he's about to be forcing the ball to him because they friends and they know each other, and he's expecting David Carr to get him the ball like Aaron Rodgers did, and he doesn't have that kind of arm. So I can see a lot of forced passes being picked off, trying to force, because the Raiders, what else do they have offensively? They've lost their receivers. They've had a lot of speed guys. Their tight end is their biggest threat. And so, but I do agree that the Packers still sit in a very good seat, though. You're correct in that regard because they are one edge rusher away. They didn't lose anything except for Zadarius, who wasn't a factor last year. That's why they knew we could survive without you if we add somebody. So you're a pass rusher, an edge rusher, and a receiver away because you still have two very good running backs, right? And so you still have Alan Lazard, who's a possession receiver. I'm not going to count Cobb, but I feel like Tank said, these 4-3 receivers are just growing on trees right now. So
right, I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk.
Right.
It's not going to be a cakewalk. We've definitely put ourselves in a position losing that type of player.
What the hell is that sound? Somebody, baby alarm going off or something?
Man, don't worry about what I got going on.
set the goddamn house on fire trying to listen to the Big Black Sports Show. Shout out to Dota. He just set the house on fire. Smoke alarm going off. Hot dogs burning up and shit on the stove.
I'll never burn anything on the grill.
Oh man. Yeah, man. So
shout out to Big Mike. Shout out to my nigga Joe in Arizona. I hope you're out there. Shout out to Big Tank, motherfucker.
Yo.
That's the reason I'm crazy. All my concussions. I used to knock shit out that big old nigga.
All right.
Shout out to Big Lynn. Big Lynn got the church opening up at East High School. Shout out City Sports. We got to figure this shit out.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Fred Riley.
Yes, he was just.
I wish I'd have been here so I could cuss your ass out. Shout out to Marlon Boy. I punch you in the fucking face.
You said you sound crazy. Y'all ain't got
Shout out to
nobody.
Lady Taylor. That's my homegirl. What up, later? Shout out to Haywood. Haywood. That's my homeboy. That's my nephew. Shout out.
All right.
I'm off to Wyoming today, y'all.
All right, my brother.
Yes, sir. All right, big bro.
All right, man. Have a good one, man. Peace and love. Yeah, shout out to Big Dota, man. Shout out to Big Dota. And anybody else who supports what we do, man. Whoever. Like, I really appreciate it, man. We get a lot of love and a lot of support from the homies. So shout out to everybody out there. You are the MVP. Welcome to the information gang, right? Word mob in the building. But it's okay. So I want to talk about Deshaun Watson too, right? Like, because you know that, first of all, let's put an official end to the blacks can't play quarterback era. Like, because I feel like even in the NFL, now I have a lot of issues with the NFL and the way they, operate in terms of race relations and whatnot, and how they treat black players. But I think the era of the black man not being able to play quarterback is over. And this is evident by the contract that Deshaun Watson, was it $250 million that he was given by the Cleveland Browns after 22 allegations of sexual misconduct. Now, the crazy part about this is, and I didn't even know this was possible, he has gone through now 2 grand jury investigations and been exonerated by both, right? Like, but he's still, the accusations, and we talked about this as well. Part of the problem with when someone's accused of some kind of sexual harassment or, any kind of thing like that, even if you beat it in court, even if you're exonerated in court, the accusation is enough to kind of keep you from, it holds you back. It's a weight around your waist for the rest of your life. So Cleveland has dealt with female protesters and even some season ticket owners who've given up their tickets because of the contract and because of them acquiring Deshaun Watson. My thing is this, and I said this last night on Outlaw Radio. You notice when there's some shit going down in the NFL in regards to a black man, most of the time the worst reactions are by white NFL fans. So, like, if we go back to Colin Kaepernick, right? Like, so who do you recall how absolutely pissed off white people were when Colin Kaepernick kneeled, right? Like, now keep in mind, because hindsight is 2020, okay? And we know that Colin Kaepernick actually kneeled prior to the George Floyd thing. And I feel like the George Floyd incident, and there were so many incidents after. I remember that summer was just a whole summer. Of course, it was during the pandemic, so it was already a chaotic situation. But it was a whole summer of egregious police murders and protests around the country and all this kind of shit. But Colin Kaepernick knelt before that happened, right? And who was the original people who were pissed off? It was white NFL fans.
These nuts.
Okay, so my problem is that there was Tim Tebow who knelt before him, and you made him a hero. The fact that there are real issues that happen outside of NFL stadiums, right? Like, there's people dying in the streets, being murdered by police officers who we pay to protect us and kind of keep some balance in your safety and trying to get home safely every day, right? So we should be upset when they continuously violate a certain group of people, black people, and time again, it's a black person dead and the cop saying, "I know what y'all thinking," right? Like, it's that kind of situation. So the whole protest of him kneeling, maybe you disagree with it because you can say, well, I didn't want that to kind of distract people from the beauty of the game. But that wasn't the issue with them. That wasn't what they were mad about. Right now in the NBA, LeBron, a bunch of other NBA players have come out and talked about the fans, the shit that the fans say to them. And guess who this is? Once again, it's white NBA fans, right? If you look at soccer matches around the world where they have, and believe me, soccer is way bigger around the world than it is here in America. They call that football. We call they call our shit American football, right? Like, so but there are riots all the time at soccer games. As a matter of fact, soccer, what they call them soccer hooligans, are known to be just like this raucous bunch of just crazy ass drunks who beat people up. White people. Okay. Yep. I'm starting to think there's a common denominator here. All right. White sports fans. Look at hockey. Right. Is it a coincidence that a majority of their fans are what? What is hockey really known for? Yeah. If you're a hockey purist, you say about the art of ice skating and you're hitting the goal. And no, it's known for fights. Motherfuckers fighting in hockey games, beating the shit out of each other. I think the NHL is taking some measures in the last few years to kind of tone it down a little bit because, you know, it's such a liability. Motherfucker get killed, you know, on the ice fucking with y'all because it's bound to happen after 70 years of y'all beating. And I'm pretty sure it has happened. Where somebody probably just labeled it something else. He had COVID. He got his ass whooped in a hockey game is what happened. But no, but I'm saying, so I'm starting to think like when we say what's the problem here? It's white sports fans. So I take this back to people in Cleveland, white people who are saying, I'm gonna give up my season tickets because they signed him. So then you're basically saying what this country is supposedly built on. We talk about due process and a court where you're innocent until proven guilty. And then once an individual goes through that process and is exonerated by 2 grand juries, you still say, I'm not going. Now, let's flip this because there's some white athletes who've been guilty of so much damn near domestic terrorism, right? And you don't say a damn thing. You know, there's no issue at all. So, you know, I just feel like I'm starting to look at white sports fans and be like, maybe we need to regulate y'all, right? And then we look at the NFL, racism. Look at Jerry Jones, right? Like Jerry Jones just found out he got a whole grown daughter he ain't even never told nobody about. This motherfucker been on tape doing all kinds of wild shit. Nobody says a damn thing. And this is proof. This is all he's guilty of. There's pictures of it. Deshaun Watson has been exonerated, and it's still some bullshit. Because he's a black man, and this all comes from, like I said, black NFL fans don't have a problem with Colin Kaepernick playing football again. We'd be like, yeah, let him play. You know who don't want him to play when you ask him? White people. Yeah. I just think he just had a good quarterback. I do you one even better, man. When we talk about how crazy this shit is look at Michael Vick.
You got me on hold, Cal.
Look at Michael Vick. Hold on, Ernest. Hold on. Look at Michael Vick. Black people didn't really have that big a problem with what he did with the dogs. You know who was mad about that shit? White people. White NFL. Even after he went and did 7 years and lost all his shit, when he came out, they said, they still shouldn't let him play football. God damn, what's going on, man? What's going on, Ewok, with your impatient ass? What's happening?
Motherfucker, you talk too goddamn much. I know it's your goddamn show, motherfucker, but damn, don't tell people to call in if you ain't gonna let them say that.
This your fifth.
Now listen here, motherfucker. I ain't gonna say the honorable Elijah Muhammad because I don't know how honorable he was. But you know, Malcolm X followed the so-called honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they called the white people demons and devils and shit. You know what I'm saying, for a reason. So I'm gonna I don't give a fuck if it's white people listening, black people that don't like what I said. Not these motherfuckers is born evil, man. Something is in their DNA that's different, dog, for real.
Okay.
No bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is my opinion. And I'm going to say what I say. Them motherfuckers do got something in their DNA that's different, dog. It's something in them. They don't get no fuck, man. They don't give a fuck what they be doing. What do you think about that? I want to hear what you say about that.
We talking about white people, right? First of all, I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yes, sir.
And I'm talking about white sports fans, too. I want people to understand the context of the conversation. You know
yes,
what?
Sir.
But I do think that there's absolutely something inherent in white people. And it might be, I don't know. I used to think it may be just an American thing, but it's not. To me, it's almost a European thing. For some reason, most of the races that originate and come out of Europe are just hateful by nature. This is just warmongering, murder,
conquer, take,
it's
steal,
that kind of shit.
steal.
Right. So if you look at every other country, every other real cultural kind of group, I mean, we know in Africa we've been everywhere. Like we was here before they came. But we've always been cool people on our own shit. Like the worst thing you got to worry about with black tribes and black civilizations back in the days is that the dudes would land on your island and knock everything down. So now it's a bunch of mixed babies when they leave and they're like, who put goddamn Pappy and his baby, right? And he done gone. Mofongo on the ship, he gone.
No doubt. Real talk.
Right, but wherever the European settlers docked their ships at, there was disease, there was murder, there was war, and usually there was theft of whatever land was there. We don't give a fuck if y'all I don't give a fuck if y'all live here. This is our shit. We claim this for us now. And guess what? Now y'all pay us protection. Y'all pay us taxes. And we're gonna come over here and grow shit, and y'all gonna ship y'all shit over here. Y'all part of our what? So inherently, I don't know if it's a biological thing.
These motherfuckers and shit, they open up sarcophagus and shit. Is that the right word? From fucking Egypt and shit. Nigga hair nappy than a motherfucker, braided all up and shit. It's the casket and shit. That was a white man. And they want you to believe that shit. That they been lying to us the whole time. They some lying, stealing, thieving motherfuckers, man, the whole time. And then if you point it out, they gonna call you. Well, you're being racist. How am I racist? You the lying motherfucker. You lying.
Ain't that the point of what happened with Colin Kaepernick is that he called them out on their shit and they ostracized him. And the saddest part of all of this, and this can't be missed, is that black players.
What you think, Tank?
Black players were not. We don't have the solidarity. We don't have the solidarity. First of all, black players didn't put up a fight and say none of us are playing until this shit straightened out because they got to get their money right. But so that's the saddest part, that we couldn't step away and start our own league and say if y'all gonna treat one of us like that, we all leaving. So that's how.
No doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Tank, you think the white man is inherently evil?
I honestly believe it's in the DNA. Because it has to be. You know what? It's not taught. It's not taught. I honestly think when Elijah Muhammad said that shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't follow Allah. I'm not a Muslim. I like pork chops and pig feet and all kinds of shit. I don't follow him like that. But I think he was on to something. These motherfuckers is demons and shit, and he knew it. He knew it. These is something in their DNA that's different than ours, dog. They different than us.
Go ahead, Tank.
Man, we forgiveful people. They think that if we get some power, we gonna step on their neck. They already know that we stronger than them. They know we can out jump them. They know that if you give us the book and allow us to learn how to read the motherfucker, that we gonna conquer that quest too. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. They've been trying to keep us from not doing shit they whole life, nigga. Now think about what I'm saying. That's why they didn't want you to learn how to read. It was against the law to teach us how to read as slaves because they knew we were smart all fucking ready.
I think it's something there.
I'll say this, man, for sure. You know, white supremacy is evil. So when you say, are they inherently evil? You know, it's hard to say no, because white supremacy is evil, and to this day they still function through white supremacy. We're still under the thumb of white supremacy. And the sad thing about it is that white supremacy doesn't only affect black people, it affects white people too.
And how
it affects white people too. You know,
I ain't got no sympathy for no white person.
Explain that.
I'm gonna have to come on
back on white poor people too, but I don't got no sympathy for that shit. Fuck that.
When I say, but we have to look at it realistically, and we have to look at it logically too. White supremacy does affect white lower class people. It does affect them too.
Well, okay.
I'm gonna say this, dude. I'm gonna say because we can't go into it as deep as I want to, but just read the Willie Lynch papers.
Hold on.
Read the Willie Lynch papers.
I think you have to expand on it, because to say that leaves out the fact that part of white supremacy.
Yeah, you can't leave it out there. You can't just leave it out there, Tank. You got to give us some better information.
Hold on.
Okay, well,
hold on, Tank. Hold on. Part of it is that when you say that, you talk about lower class white people, you are dismissing the fact that if a white person is born under the 8 ball, or so to speak, white supremacy allows them to recover from that quicker than it would a person of color. If all they got to do is clean it up and play it off a little bit, and they are going to get more chances and more opportunities than we would as people of color. Because and that's
right, but they're still not equal. But they're still not equal. They're still not equal to higher class whites. To higher class whites. To the elitists.
Statistically, Tank, look at this. White people with no high school diploma still earn statistically more than black people with college degrees. So that means I have no mercy for a poor white person. They just got to learn how to use their whiteness. I don't have no mercy for them.
Okay, look, I'm not. Let me make myself clear. I'm not saying be easy on white people because I'm saying that they're also victims of white supremacy. So,
man, all they gotta say is
I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain why I say.
Can you give him a job?
I'm going to explain why I say some white people are victims of white supremacy.
Come on, man.
Because white supremacy is not also it's not just the manipulation of a racial or ethnic group. It's also the manipulation of their economic ability, their financial abilities. And what white supremacy has done for lower class, because whites themselves are minorities amongst each other. When you think about it, Europeans are minorities amongst each other. So that's why that's one of the reasons why Europe is war torn and ravaged, because they've been fighting with each other for years since the beginning of time.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, bro.
I want y'all to hear this, man. You know, if you sell your house, Tank, and you try to sell your house, you know, and they know you're a black person, they're gonna try to rob you. They're gonna try to tell you your house only worth this much. But if you was a white person, they gonna give you extra money on your house just because they're a white person. Don't act like that shit don't exist. That exists. If you got an
education, I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Goddamn it,
that's not what I'm saying.
Fuck you over and shit. White people got all the motherfucking chances on earth. Man, please don't take up for no poor white person.
You're not understanding what I'm trying to say, though, dude. I gotta try to figure out a way to articulate what I'm trying to say so y'all can understand what I'm saying.
Hold on, fellas.
Fucking up.
We got to make sure we're not talking over each other because then can't nobody hear nothing.
I'm sorry about that, Kev. But the white motherfucker ain't got no excuse, man. Please.
This digress quickly. Tank, you right. I mean, we don't have enough time to really go into this. This would have to be an entirely different show because it's a different conversation. Because it's, I think I think you are kind of underestimating the white man's ability to recover from economic or financial status. So once again,
that's not it. No, that's not it.
One of the advantages of white supremacy is that they can look out for their own, and they will look out for their own. And that's kind of the problem, is that they always looking out for their own and nobody else. So they will reach back and grab some of them.
But here's the thing. This is what I'm trying to say. White supremacy is a combination of the exploitation of a race and their economic ability. Now, here in America, capitalism rules supreme.
Tank, they give left hand.
You gotta listen. You gotta hear me out. You got to hear me out. If I cannot fully explain it, you will never understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to say feel sorry. I'm not trying to say feel sorry for the white man. And like I said, I do believe his actions over history have been inherently evil towards particularly the black race, the black man. Yes, we suffered immensely through white people and through white supremacy. But the white man has also used his own man to suppress us. He's also used his own man. He's also tricked his own people to saying, hey, you're not an elitist, but we'll hold you above the black man.
Thanks.
You're not an elitist. You're not going to be on our level financially. You're not going to be on our level.
You know where your feelings should lie? With black people, period. You know what I'm saying? Now, in about 1,000 years later and shit, where everything is right, then that's when you should worry about a white motherfucker. If everything
Dude, trust me. Trust me.
You sitting here watching this.
I'm a black man, and I'm well aware of our history,
I'm
bro.
sorry, Kev. I was trying to tell Tank something, but he keep talking. I tried to wait.
I'm gonna have to mute this shit all out because I can't hear.
I tried to wait, Kev. But Tank steady talking.
But you're not understanding what I'm saying, bro. You keep telling me to.
Hold on, Tank. Calm down. Everybody take a fucking deep breath. If y'all got something to smoke it. Yay Lee in the chat room. He said they shift the financial game once they not winning like all parts of the game. Okay, I hear you, my brother. I hear you. Yeah, that's Yay Lee from the chat room. Let me put that back up so y'all can see it. And once again, it's a sports show. This is how I might as well start talking about Will and Jada again. Like I might as well just start. I'm gonna go back to talk about that shit again because
man, we freestyling this shit, Kev. You know how it go. We gonna freestyle it. You know what I'm saying? This outlaw radio regardless. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna get a little emotional. That's what black people do, motherfucker. Outlaw niggas.
Right. Explain it to me, the one who came up with it. He's explaining it to me. Like, let me tell you what your ass is, motherfucker. Your purpose is.
God damn it.
So
look, I ain't giving it no white man, you can't compare no white struggling man to no black man struggle. That's all
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
That's all I was trying to say.
I'm just saying it.
Don't give him no fuck them, man. That boy had
the only thing I'm trying to say.
Methamphetamines and shit is still. They can call Jim Bob and shit, and they get a job for $25 an hour and shit. They can still do that shit, man. Today.
Right. The only thing I'm trying to say is that white supremacy not only affects all black people, but it affects lower class people too. It was meant to do that.
I hear what you saying.
It was structured and conceived to make lower class white men feel that they have more power and more standing in American society than the black man does. That's all I'm saying. Even white people, at some point, lower class white people suffer from white supremacy because of how it's been implemented.
How about this? We hear what you're saying. Let's all agree to
disagree. And guess what?
That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking up for it.
We didn't have to endure what we had to go through. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna go all to the roots of Africa and shit. We the baddest motherfuckers on earth because we from Africa and shit. But guess what? We had to endure things that they never had to endure. I'm talking about mentally right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why they shoot up the post office and shit. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to shoot everybody.
So,
people don't do that shit.
Shout out to
why the fuck the white people they kids going to schools and shit? They not mentally capable of being in a bad situation. They can't take it.
Shout out to Ye Lee in the chat room again. He said, we don't have the complexion for the connection. So yes, the lowest level of whites will always outweigh the greatest black.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. About an hour and a half ago, man, my friend across the alley, he a white dude. His wife just sent him to jail. God damn it, tonight. No bullshit, real live talk. And because he told his son he fucking up in school, and he grabbed him by his wrist and said, "I'm still your daddy." The police came and arrested the nigga, man. I was trying my best to keep the white boy from going to jail. They was like, you better shut up and blah, blah, blah. So I shut the fuck all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to go to jail. I had my pistol on my hip and everything. I think they peeped it too. You know what I'm saying? But it's Arizona. I can have it. But so the thing is, though, you know what I'm saying? All this man did was try to tell his son, you fucking up in school, man. And his son stood up and like he was going to do something. He grabbed him by his wrist and said, sit your ass down. I'm still your daddy.
I got the feeling this don't got nothing to do with the black and white conversation we was just having.
Yeah, it do, because goddamn it, white buffaloes go to jail too. I'm trying to be a little bit on Tank's side and shit since he like white people. Anyway, man,
right,
I tell you what, I'm gonna let y'all go, man. I'm gonna let somebody else call in and talk that shit, man. Peace out.
Digression is the word for tonight's show. Let me digress from the topic, okay? Because I do want to talk about the Bucks before we get out of here. The original point of that conversation was centered around the overly aggressive, crazy, opinionated, hyper racist attitude of white sports fans. That's where that started from. Ewald called in and said white people are inherently racist, so he wanted to know how do we feel about it. So if people say, God damn, I thought this was a sports show, and I tune in and it was this shit, like it's still based around something that had to do with sports. But I do want to talk about the Bucks, though. I want to talk about the Bucks because it's coming down to it. And it's coming down to the wire. And I didn't know that the season was like this short. I thought, you think because the basketball season lasts forever, but the season is about to be the playoffs, right? Like, so some teams have already been eliminated. My fanatical Laker fans. Shout out to Westside Zeladon, who lives and died by.
Oh man, I know Zelly heart is broken.
Right, and Zelly blames LeBron, of course. He says LeBron because they traded away all the young players, and so, but that's happening. But I wanted to talk about the Bucks because since they won this title, we've all gotten a little stuck up as basketball fans. We've forgotten what it was like when the Bucks drafted Eastern Europeans like 12 years in a row in the first round, and they all right like 12 Eastern Europeans and a Japanese dude, right? Yi Jing Lang. Where is Yi Jing Lang? Where did he
Andrew
go?
Bogut.
Right, all these dudes, Aussies, everybody. So, but now we got the Greek Freak, and it popped off. We won the title, we won the championship last year. So, and the people were talking about repeat. I didn't feel like the Bucks would be in a position to repeat this year as champions. I feel like the Bucks are a player away. So I wanted to talk about this whole thing, and my evidence is the better teams in the NBA, the teams that have young, fresh, bouncy talent, they beat the Bucks. Like the Bucks, I don't even know what's the score now. Did they lose tonight to the Sixers? I don't know, but they got ran out the building. I thought when they lost to the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, they lost without Giannis, but he was there. Oh, the Bucks actually won by 2 over the Sixers. Okay. Well, the Sixers are the team out of the powerhouses in the East where people say, they still a little susceptible, right? Because Harden is not what he once was, right? So Harden is that hamstring. It's like what you got in Ben Simmons, right? Like, how does dude end up with a herniated back and he ain't even played? Like,
right.
Shout out to Ye Lee. He says, we need to give them their God back so we can go back to our ancestors' roots. But until then, we will actually, he said, we will always differ because some of these conscious Black people still put Jesus over their own people. Wow. And there's another conversation that we have on the People's Network, Information Gang, Word Mob, that religious conversation where Jesus is, where God is, where the Trinity is, where the Holy Spirit is. That is a eternal debate amongst Black folks about spirituality and where we went wrong at in this country. How did we end up in this really second class seat we sitting in? And it's they've been able to keep us there for so long. And so that's always been a conversation. So shout out to Ye Lee for the comment. And that's connected even with sports. And one thing about sports is we're so good at playing them, but we're so horrible at owning or administrating over them, the teams that play them. So yeah, we make for some great NFL players. We are all up in that Hall of Fame, right? But when it comes to ownership or really high-powered executive positions, our numbers get thinner and thinner. The craziest part is that it doesn't even resonate on the very sideline. So in the NFL, you only got 2 Black head coaches. How is this even possible? Like in 2022, but it's all a reflection of the ideology that Colin Kaepernick was wrong. That the NBA with those same white people that told NBA players just bounce the ball when the whole thing was going. But now I feel like we get pacified because they allow them to put social service slogans on their jerseys, or you can put a nonprofit on your t-shirt today, nigger, and show. Like, I feel like this is all kind of like a game of puppet masters, and they're all evil white dudes with grins on their faces. Like, yeah, niggers dance. Okay, maybe I took that too far. Shout out to Yealy again. He's in the chat room. He says the oppressor's greatest weapon is the keeping of oppressed minds. No doubt. If I can control your mind, of course, I got you. You're right. If I can control what's going on upstairs, hey, you don't stand a chance. So yeah, but the Bucks won tonight. So I still think they're a player away. So I don't think they'll repeat this year. First of all, they can't beat Phoenix, if you ask me. Right? The league should be on warning about Phoenix. Phoenix is a very good team, and they play good, smart, high pace, efficient basketball. They can shoot. They got the inside presence, and then they got your man's 50 grand, CP3 running that point. Now he old, so if his body can hold up, because we know he long in the tooth, and so. But if the Bucks, people say, "Well, if the Bucks get lucky," because sports is this like war of attrition, like
Right.
where people, if I could have the best team on paper, but if they're hurt, like when they first put that team together in Brooklyn last year, we felt like that would be the championship team for years to come. KD, Harden, and Kyrie, and then they were just signing everybody. Just who your best player? Come on, motherfucker, get on bus. They was just taking everybody, Blake Griffin, everybody, and they got beat by the Bucks, right? And you know, so Kevin Durant and all these great players, it didn't matter. So it's chemistry and it's luck too. You got to have a little luck, because we were lucky that Giannis came back. It looked like Giannis broke his damn leg. But
Right.
he was able to come back, and so we was able to win a war of attrition. If it came down to the finals this year, I don't believe the Bucks can beat them in 6 like we did last year, and not even 7. I don't think the Bucks can run with them for a 7-game series, because they're just a little bit better than us talent wise. What you think about that? What you think about the Bucks?
Yeah, you know, like we were talking about earlier, they don't have that athleticism that you want to see, you know, during the playoffs. The one thing about the playoffs, though, the game slows up. It becomes a half-court game most of the game. And so I understand having shooters and having some interior players, some guys down low that can hit the boards from you and play defense. But, you know, when the game opens up and you're running the floor, I don't see us having that guy that can, you know.
Yeah, we're a player away. The Bucks are
Not right. You know, we don't have that exciting, explosive player that can run the floor, jump, dunk, catch lobs, just you know, just athleticism. We don't have that.
He said, Ye Lee said the Suns is out for revenge. Anthony McGee said, when does your show come on? Every day? No, actually, well, I guess you could say that, because Outlaw Radio is on Mondays, which if you've been rocking with Outlaw Radio, you know what that is. It's been around for a while. I do this sports talk show on Tuesday because it to me, the conversation in regards to sports is just like anything else. When it comes to black people in this country, they talk about us, but they don't talk to us. So more often than not, I'm watching the sports show and I'm like, this is some bullshit. Like, it's kids, you know, they don't know when it comes to us and like black men, and the truth is never told about. And don't get me wrong, there's more of an attempt now to do so than ever. But I got tired of watching them on sports, and I said I do my own damn sports show. Now, if you want to hear Outlaw Radio, which is a little bit more topical, a little bit more serious, not as loose as we are here on the Big Black Sports Show, then join me and my co-host tomorrow night, which will be the Wednesday edition of Outlaw Radio. If you just like to hear me talk shit, or maybe you just don't like me at all and you want to see if I fall on my face, tune in on Thursday night for Outlaw Nation. So we're on 4 days a week now, right? That was my point. That was the point I was trying to make. It took me a long time to get there. Shout out to Earl Henning. He said 34. We need more. Ye Lee said we need better bench role players. We do. He said cool programming my phone for reminders. Thanks, man. Shout out to Anthony McGee. He was always a supporter of Outlaw Radio. And if y'all ain't in the People's News Network, that is the sister group of the People's News Network. So, I mean, that's the sister group. So normally if we're talking about something and you want to see if I'm lying or if it's even really a thing, go to the People's News Network, and usually that story is in there. I noticed lately a lot of people share different platforms in there. It's my group. I could be a hater, right, and take these people's platforms down, but I don't, because I think everybody should. I think it's a cool thing for us to be able to do us, especially as black people. Like, we've been complaining for years on how we portrayed in the media, the stories, the inaccuracy of the stories, the discrepancies that are contained within the information that's disseminated about black people in this country. We always been complaining about that for years. Well, nowadays we have the technology to write our own narratives and do our own shit. So anybody with a platform that's doing something positive or progressive, I share their shit. I'm not a hater at all. Like, there's so many more shows, and I be looking at it sometimes like, well, wait a minute, damn it. Because how's my show or one of our shows 7th and down the line, but it'd be so many other platforms in there. So if you're looking for a variation of thought, like that kind of variety, man, variety is the spice of life. So check out the People's News Network, right? Like, so holler at that. But yeah, back to the Bucks, man. I'm not saying that there won't be another championship brought to Milwaukee while we have Giannis, but I do think the Bucks appear to be a lot older. They're a lot more pedestrian than they should be at this point. I feel like they look like a team of old dudes, but they're not. Like, Giannis is 28, 27, which is very close to being at his peak. I figure you hit your peak around 29, 30. That's when you really just got everything just, because once you cross 30, it's like, oh shit, my back. But
we can't forget about Middleton. But we talked about Middleton before, and we talked about how we would like for him to be more consistent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He'll drop 32 one night, drop 20, 26 the next night, and then 13 the next night and shit.
Yeah, Middleton is a hell of an asset. I just wish Middleton was more consistent with a 25, because I think he probably averages about 20 points a game, which is nothing to shake a stick at. Right. But I'd like to see Middleton do because you see Giannis with 8, 9, 30-point games in a row. I'd like to see Middleton with about 6, 7, 25, 30 points. But some people might say that's not how their offense is set up though, Kev. And so basketball people always tell me, you don't know what you're talking about. You got to understand basketball. So if you're a basketball person out there, you feel free to correct me because I'm entirely a football guy. Ye Lee said we need to stop sugarcoating what's going on in our family households and and community. We need to do a rite of passage. There's a lot of things we need to do. That we need that new blood coming in the league. Yeah, that's the one thing about the NBA. They got guaranteed money. That's why the NBA's talent is top notch, man. These boys jumping out the gym. There's things being done in basketball now that we haven't big. So nobody plays with their back to the basket no more from the center position. Look at Joel Embiid, the 5 shoot 3-pointers now, 7 footers. That back in the days, Bill Laimbeer was the main big tall white. Man, that big shoot, right? But so the game has changed. Everything is so up tempo. You're looking at an athlete like Ja Morant, man. This dude is a next level athlete. I don't know if people pay attention to athletics enough where you can look at types, right? So some athletes, you look at them play and you say, it's something different about how that dude moves, right? Not no pause, no homo, not like that. But I'm saying how he ran that route or his explosiveness or his leaping ability. And then you got some good athletes that they fundamentally sound. You say, oh, dude can play. But then you look at another dude and say, hey, that dude got something else to him. And Ja Morant is like that. LeBron James has for so long been like that. It's so many players throughout the NBA, you can't even name them. It's dudes averaging 25, 27, 28 points a game now. You don't even know their name. I ain't never heard of dude because there's so many of them now. Back in the days, if it was one dude who did that, he was the top dude in the league. So the NBA is on a whole other level. You're right. Yeah, he said the hook shot is no more. You're damn right. Nobody shoots a hook shot. I bet you it's some Eastern Europeans who know how to do that shit though. Yeah, those Europeans shoot shit out the ball.
But the hook shot, the way Kareem did it though, no one will ever do it like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The sky hook.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm watching once again. If you ain't watching this show on HBO, The Rise of the Lakers, talking about the dynasty, Showtime, and all this, and then following Magic Johnson as a youngster. First of all, the young brother who they got playing Magic looks exactly like young Magic. Man. I don't know where they found this dude at. And he's 6'8", right? So it's a good. Have you watched it? Have you been able to?
I finally caught some episodes today.
Okay. Because I told you about it. I told you, it's a trip, right?
It's a trip.
Yeah. It's a good show. It's a good series. Yeah. And it goes to show how much it actually takes to build a successful sports franchise. You would think if we got good players, we're gonna win, right? Or we're gonna be successful. And that's not always the truth. So it takes it's a visionary owner comes in who's partially damn near half crazy. If you look at Jerry Buss,
Dr. Buss was a trip.
And then he with a maniac like Jerry West, who's maniacal about basketball and just kind of to the point where it just makes him a grade A asshole, right? And then you have a physical phenom like Magic Johnson, who's something that the game ain't never seen, a 6'8" point guard, right? All of this crazy shit goes together in a place like Los Angeles in the 70s. And this is what comes out of it. So yeah, it's a good show, man. I love the show. John C. Reilly is, in terms of white actors, is a dude who cracks me up in every movie.
Man, he's always been funny to me, man. But he's playing his part very well.
Oh my!
In this show,
yes,
it's crazy.
Yeah. I watch sports shows. I watch All American. And I watched the whole thing, and it's always I laugh about All American because I'm like, all these grown ass people that's supposed to be high school. I'm glad they in college now and shit. I wasn't riding with this motherfucker ain't in high school, right? Like, so
I said the same thing.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy, but I watch it, man, because it's black people and the stories that are surround sports. It's impressive for me, man. Now it's the Final Four. Now I can finally. I'm such a Johnny come lately, right? Like I'm a party pooper. I don't participate in the brackets and all that shit. I wait till there's 4 teams left and then I pick. And I was looking at the teams that was left. It's crazy that Mike Krzyzewski's last year he got a Final Four team again. There's a possibility he could go out on top.
Yeah.
Right? There's a possibility he could go out with another natty. Ye Lee said UNC. I was thinking what was my team? Kansas. I was thinking Kansas. Kansas is nice. And that's what the future for the NBA looks bright because look at the level of athletes that these blue chip all of like basketball players for these power programs, phenomenal athletes, man. Like, so the future for the NBA, I know they just like smiling like shit. That'd be nice to give some guaranteed money, right? Like, so yeah, man. But yeah, so who you picking? I said I'm picking Kansas. I'm riding with Kansas. Who you riding with?
I haven't made a choice yet. I was trying to think about it today, and I actually watched some games over the weekend too. For some reason, man, I have this feeling for Duke. I got a feeling that Duke is going to win it. I don't want them to win it. I just had I'm just one of those people that always hated Duke for some reason. You know what I'm saying? I just always hated Duke, man.
Yeah.
And I hate for him to go out like that. I almost wanted to bust his ass. I was pulling for St. Peter's, dude.
Oh, you was with the Cinderella.
I was with the Cinderella. I'm like, hey, if they made it this far, they should make it to the Final Four. I was really hoping that they would upset UNC, man, but shit.
You know what happened to me? What I ended up doing, something that was totally it was an accident. It was really spontaneous. I started watching girls basketball, women's women's college basketball. I have never watched girls women's basketball. And so I've always said I don't get the appeal because there's no real, like, they don't play like the dudes. They ain't no dunking. Even when they do dunk, it's kind of like it's not the same. It's just not the same level of physicality. So, but I watched it and I realized, and I should have known this anyways because my son trained for basketball with a lot of females, a lot of girls, and those girls came to the gym and they worked hard as hell. You know what I'm saying? And so these girls play hard, man. They play hard, and I was watching like, damn, I'm such a caveman. Every time these girls fall on the floor or dive at a loose ball, I'm scared one of them hurt and shit. Like, oh, she hurt. Like, but this dude.
You know, I like watching girls basketball because it's more disciplined. As far as, you know, from a quote unquote purist standpoint.
Oh, okay.
Just watching how just the fluidity of how they play. Right. You know, I've seen many games, pro, college, high school, where, you know, you'll see the coach signal a play to the point guard. The point guard will look at it and be like, "Fuck that," and just do, and they'll just run, do whatever they want to do out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the girls' game is a little more disciplined. You know, they move the ball around. They run their plays. They run their set plays. Where half the game, man, in the basketball game, half the game, they're ignoring the coach. Definitely in basketball, I must say, half of the game they're ignoring the calls.
You talking about the males?
Yeah.
Nah, man, you tell him you ain't ignoring Coach K when he call a play. You ain't ignoring at North Carolina. You ain't ignoring shit.
Oh, no, of course not, Coach K. But I'm saying, I've seen more discipline in the girls' game than I've seen in the male game. I've seen Bucks games. For instance, I've seen Sam Cassell look at George Karl. George Karl called a play. Sam Cassell was like, "Fuck that!" and shot a 3-pointer.
Hey, you talking about Sam Cassell though?
I'm just saying, it was like coming from a coach's point of view, that's blatant disrespect. I'm telling you to set up to run the play. You look at me and then shoot a fucking 3-pointer.
Well, it's no different than you calling a play and a quarterback calling an audible and running a different play. It happens in sports. Yeah, it happens.
But
and there's some girls in this country who do the same shit in sport, in basketball, who do it like, I got this.
No, but watching the girls' game, it's much more. It's more disciplined.
A lot of people say that. Yeah, man. It's been a big black sports show, man. He said, Yee Lee said that the shooting game and passing game is that business. Yeah, girls, they can shoot the ball, man. There's more sharp shooting. They shoot better, but just the athleticism. Like I trade it because I hate seeing a game where you got every how many jumpers? Can I get a dunk or alley oop or something? Like the dude, the males make more. They're we're built different. This is the debate when you start talking about why you can't allow trans athletes to play with women, because men physically, biologically are built to perform on a whole different level athletically. That's not to say that women can't be athletes.
Right. More women need to come out and speak out about that.
Well, you would expect more women to speak out about it. I'm a little surprised that more prominent athletes haven't, but I do understand also that this is a society it's all about positioning yourself, right? So that you can do what you need to do. This is the real danger. I told you it was going to draw me back in. This is the real danger that what happened last night between Will Smith and assuming this was real. I won't totally dismiss the notion that maybe it was set up, maybe it was a setup, or maybe it was some kind of plot. I'm not going to ever say no beyond a shadow of doubt, because you never can tell. But in my eyes and in my opinion, I'm treating this situation like it was real. And I said this last night. The real loser in that situation was freedom of speech. I feel like our right to free speech is who got slapped last night. And I said that because anytime we live in a society where you can be punished physically for what you say. And once again, there are people who say shit all the time that I don't agree with, right? And I'm pretty sure I say shit all the time people don't agree with. But nobody should have the right to physically assault you for something you said, even if the person is super disrespectful to you. Okay, so we keep talking this notion about, well, it wasn't fair for something to be said, and this ain't got shit to do with sports. I'm just closing the show out. We going home with it, right?
Right.
So, but when we say we shouldn't have made fun of her, it was a low blow because she got alopecia. Okay, when you see a fat person, you start doing fat jokes. You don't know what medical condition that person has. You don't know if it's even a mental health issue in which that person stress eats. Right, because some people don't smoke cigarettes when they get stressed. They grab some cookies. Some people don't go smoke a joint when they down and out. They go get some ice cream or they go get a pizza and eat the whole thing. Like, so it's a mental health condition. Some people have issues with their body where their metabolism is not as high as others, so they gain more weight by eating less. Right?
Thyroid issues.
Also, it's also a medical condition, right? Some people have big ass heads. You don't know why you got your big ass head. You don't know why it may be a birth defect, right? You don't know if this person has a genetic disorder. So if this is the case, then we can't make fun of nobody ever again. I don't want to hear a fat joke. I don't want to hear no joke about somebody with some big ass teeth or snaggle teeth, rotten mouth motherfucker. That's a medical condition because he has a gum disease, pyorrhea. You know how many Americans are affected each year by pyorrhea of the gum, right? Like, so this is the danger that this poses, because now we're gonna really start being able to allow to put our hands on people when we don't agree with what they say, which will create a bunch of retaliatory acts, right? Because I don't know how many comedians and how many speakers and how many people who are public figures express one main sentiment no matter what side they're on. If Will Smith had slapped me, I would have whooped his ass. That is like the main thing you hear from every shit. He slapped the right one. And, you know, black people always swear we the baddest motherfuckers ever. Yeah, that motherfucker slapped me out of bed, kung fu kick motherfucker up in the air. You know, black people do that shit.
Like Godfrey.
Like the Rock. I had to put my hand back. I had to put on my hand. You know, black people go on and on, right? Like, so, but freedom of speech and freedom of expression is the true loser here. Because whether you thought the joke was tasteless or not was not the point. Because Chris Rock has the right to say G.I. Jane 2, can't wait. He has the right to say that. That is not making fun of a cancer patient. That is not making fun of somebody who had a traumatic brain injury and they had to get their hair cut off because of some surgery. First of all, she said she had alopecia. We don't know if she's lying or not. So for all you people running away, hey, goddamn, that was low because you get obvious. She said she suffered from alopecia. She also called her affair an entanglement. So that she already got a way with words, right? So freedom of speech and freedom of expression is the true victim of what happened last night, right? And so the extension of that is white people being able to ostracize a black man in a sport when he speaks out against police violence or situations and circumstances in our community that are unfair. He has the right to say that, but his way of life was taken from him because he said it. That's an assault on free speech, right? When NBA players try to speak out and they say, just bounce the damn ball, that's an attack on free speech. So I say, how far does it go? Right. And I'm no friend of white supremacists who say niggers and they come and do Nazi parades and they come to your city and they got these flags and they want to march through your city. You know who more often than not is protecting them? The police that taxpayers pay for. That's who's protecting them and will fuck you up if you go down there and try to get at one of them. Right. Because there's a such thing called freedom of speech. You might not agree with what I say. You might not like what I say, but you got to respect it. And that's what we should be living under. And that's the main thing we should remember. Chris Rock was at work. I told you, I said this last night. Chris Rock getting slapped on that stage was the equivalent of you pulling up in the drive-thru at McDonald's, getting upset because you didn't like what the person on the speaker said, going in there, going behind the counter and slapping the shit out of him because I don't like what you said to me or how you said it to me or whatever, right? That shit shouldn't be tolerated. And I keep hearing people say, well, Chris Rock a big man because he didn't do nothing back. I think Chris Rock was shook. I think he got the shit slapped out of him and he's seen Will is way bigger than me and he's 57 years old. I don't know how many fair ones he got left in it. So I think that's my cap on that. And that's my connection with it for sports. Assault to freedom of speech and freedom of expression is an assault to freedom of speech and expression everywhere. The assault on it at the Oscars was an assault on it everywhere. So yeah, man, that's my closure on that. You got any closure you want to say? You want to plug your book? You got anything you want to add? Anything you want to say before we close it out?
Oh, nothing. Just once again, Fullback available on Amazon and Lulu. Why is it every time I pull this book up, man? This whatever.
Your camera on that, man. All night. Your camera been switching up all night. People
man,
a cold ass special effect on his camera.
Right. I gotta work the kinks out. But hey, man, I just enjoyed our talk tonight. Yeah, the Will Smith talk. I think that's gonna dominate podcasts and talks all weeks.
Everything.
But other than that, though, man, yeah, I enjoyed our talk tonight, and yeah, our Packers definitely got some work to do at receiver. You know, a lot of the other things that we didn't get a chance to talk about too, man. We didn't get to talk about the policy that they're floating around in the NFL now. They want to hire more minority assistant coaches,
right?
And they lumped in women along with coaches of color.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something that we can talk about too in the future. Near future.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. You and Ewok was the one talking about goddamn white supremacy and all this shit and gangs.
Yeah, man. You know, I wish I would have held off. Like, I need more time to explain what I really mean by that.
We definitely gonna have to come back to it. You might have to come on Outlaw Nation and do it. Goddamn John Marshall graduates, man. Y'all can't take goddamn John Marshall kids nowhere. It's your birthday, man.
Yes.
Happy birthday, my brother. Happy birthday.
Man, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, man. No problem, man. I will see you. Like I said, you can come on back, man, if you want to discuss that further on Outlaw Nation on Thursday night. Check us out tomorrow night for Outlaw Radio, man. Peace and love. Y'all be safe.
Man.
These niggas wishy-washy, snitchy like they got shit. I remember back to days on money in my pocket. Now I'm styling like a rich nigga's closet. $100 and now hear my Samuel Hill voice. Was in your wallet. I got that fire. I got that fire. I got that fire.